Trump and Netanyahu are ready to what? Break up Biafra and Nigeria. And there's a lot of excitement as regards this. The UK are not happy as regards this. And at the same time, IPOB, the Igbos are not happy with what the Britain are doing. They said even recently, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK, was celebrating the release of a socialist and a activist in an Egyptian and British citizen called El Fattah. They said the UK had to interfere and this person was released. But that of Nnamdi Kanu, they said UK are playing double standard and they are not happy. They don't want Nigeria to break. Why is it that they are against Nnamdi Kanu freedom and at the same time Netanyahu and Trump are coming and are ready to do the needful? Because Biafra, freedom is on the table. We saw the world leaders and Israel talk about Biafra Nigeria breakup. UK are in panic.
Do you know that the greatest enemy the Igbos have in history is United Kingdom? That's the British. When they came calling for colonization in 18th centuries, they fought the Igbos. The Igbo warriors that were dwelling on the lower Niger for over 60 years. They could not prevail on Igbo man. And that's why they reconvene and invade the Igbo land with Bible. It was through peaceful process, peace process, that process, not protest, process that the British bought the heart of the Igbos. How did they do it? Bible. Bible. There are some books written by Tinubu Achebe. Tinubu Achebe's parents were the foremost Christians in the southeastern Nigeria. These are two parents that actually invited other Igbo communities to accept our Lord Jesus Christ and Christianity. But Igbo man was just like, this our Lord Jesus, created by the same Chineke Okabiame, and we are calling Chukwu Okabiame, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham. Now, they use Bible. And when we read the Bible, we actually succumb to British rule. So the toughest race, the toughest tribe, the toughest set of people on the continent of Africa that gave the British tough time during colonization era were the Igbos. That's why they become the worst enemy of Biafra today. Look at the same thing Nigerian nation accused Kanu of committing. The same thing El Fattah of Egypt committed. He incited Egyptians to burn police station, to attack British, to do all manners of evil against the British man. Yet, Starmer, Abistan, what is that his name? Ken Starmer, whatever he called himself, the British Prime Minister, could not at least play consular role for Kanu to come out. Because Kanu is an Igbo man is an enemy of Britain. The British man is an enemy of Igbo man. The British don't like the Igbos. We are more intelligent than the British. They have seen people that actually challenge the white skin. The British know that most of the scientists in Ukraine, in Russia, they are from Igbo extraction. You have many scientists in America today. The computer guru, Philip Emegbalo, Philip Emegbalo is an Igbo man from Anambra State. You see it, they actually know that in Russia today, Kanu and Putin are one. Why? Most of the scientists devising all the scientific inventions, manufacturing weapons, in Russia and Ukraine are Igbos. So Britain now is seeing Igbo man as a potential threat to the socialist Britain. That's why they don't want Kanu to come out. If you observe Kanu, you will find out that God has given him a special gift. Kanu is not like any other person on the continent of Africa. Kanu is better than a British man. You can see how a man went to the court and descended on the justice, presiding over a court case, begin lecturing him about law of the land. And he won. I don't know where you know. I don't know where you know where I'm going. Yeah. So the British man is jealous of Igbo man. British man can never categorize the Egyptians with Igbo man. No, we are better, more intelligent, we are stronger, more accepted by God than Egyptian. Egyptians, if you ask me, I tell you that those olden day Egyptians, there are some of them that are the same with olden day Egyptians. Nobody will tell me that this is a current dispensation that those Egyptians in those days were gone. No, they are their ancestors of the current Egyptians. Bible says, that's what God said. No better thing, no good thing will come out from that land. Actually, our Lord Jesus Christ was taken to that land. They hid him. The child survived. Herod, Philip, Herod genocide, infant genocide. Egypt protected our Lord Jesus Christ. But I'm telling you today that failure to play consular role, Kanu is going to denounce his British citizen because Britain has actually turned their back on Nnamdi Kanu. So it is left for Nnamdi Kanu to make a choice. If I could be in his position, I'm going to swap my British citizenship to Israel. Israeli is better. Because could be that Kanu is a citizen of Israel. Nigeria won't hold Kanu up to 1 week. Who bomb monkey? Your former president that arrested Kanu could not even have GCE certificate, let alone sitting for WASC. I don't know what I understand. So El Fatah of Egypt, they actually play consular role because of what they are benefiting from Egypt. Then Kanu's consular role was dashed on the rock simply because Britain is stealing Nigerian oil, playing games with all Nigerian presidents that come and go. Boris Johnson just come the other day, denounced Christian genocide. Imagine a Christian. Egyptians are not only in the Northern Africa. You have many Egyptians in Western Europe. The whole, almost how many percentage of the British are worse than Egyptians? They were in the olden days into witchcraft. I mean the British. They are not Christians. See the role that Winston Churchill played during the era of Second World War. Did Louis or Lionel Sojuku not lend British government then under the watch of Winston Churchill for almost 320 military heavy truck on lease to help Britain fight the Nazis, that is Adolf Hitler? After the Führer was defeated by America's stroke Russian military forces, how did Winston Churchill pay Ojuku's father? It was in 1967 that the war started, and the British paid Ojuku, son of the man that lent them, borrowed them. Let me use the language that Nigerians should understand. The man whose father borrowed them 320 heavy military truck was almost spied, killed by British Labour government, who sponsored Nigerian military clique with arms. And he began to, oh my God, look like genocide. And certainly it was the biggest genocide, waste of blood, bloody one on the African continent. The war of 1967 to 1970, Igbos died in their large number. Yeah, courtesy, British Labour government. The Nigerian military clique led by Gowon, they supplied Gowon with arms, heavy one, to finish the entire Igbos. And if you go on social media today, you will see how the British, colluded with Nigerian military, executing Igbo youths on the street of Kanu, on the street of Kaduna, searching for them all over Gongola, Adamawa forests, deep down Cameroon highland, where the Igbos were farmers. They slew pregnant women, open their stomach, bringing out the embryos, cutting the embryos into pieces. So the British man is a devilish man to Igbo man. That's why Kanu is on his own today. Britain hates Igbo man with passion. And I'm telling you, within a very short period, British man will have compassionate, on Igbo man, because emancipation of Biafra is coming. Israel has come to southeastern Nigeria, establishing their military bases there, Biafra is coming, and Nnamdi Kanu will walk out free. Come quote me, the Association of all the Economic of West African States, ECOWAS, their presidents, they are coming to question Tinubu why, and they're not only coming, they are coming to enforce it, because they actually have seen what has never happened in the world before. Sentencing a man, Jesus Christ, by ordinary script. Someone in the seat of authority wrote for the judge, presiding judge. It has never happened before in the history of this world. So that's it. Britain is playing consular role for the Egyptian El Fattah, failure to play consular role for the Igbo man arrested in Nigeria, detained for how many years now, Nnamdi Kanu. Okay,
and lastly, do you think that the Nigerian government and army are saying there's peace in the southeast now because Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu have been arrested? They said finally there's peace, but the IPOB have come out to attack them. They said what? That the Nigerian military are the one that were fighting the Igbos, not Nnamdi Kanu's.
Buhari employed Nigerian military to eliminate any Igbo youth that mention Biafra. If they hear PIM from any Igbo youth, Brutai, the then chief of army staff, COAS, would send the killer squad in the military, consisted of 75% the Fulani soldiers, where to southeastern Nigeria to kill, to maim, to decimate and neutralize those Igbo youths agitating for emancipation of Biafra. So what are we saying? The people that were unknown government, the people that were using people for ritualists, the people that are killing Igbo youths are those governors that are errand boys to Nigerian government led by Fulani, governors. Fulani governors, Fulani president, they were responsible for crying and inhalating or murdering of the Igbos in their large numbers since inception of Buhari administration of 2015 to 2023. It is no news. It is no news again that Nnamdi Kanu is a peaceful man. And what he predicted and said or prophesied about Nigeria is the reason why the Hausas are asking Tinubu administration to leave Nnamdi Kanu alone. That he should arrest Gumi, that he should arrest Sadano Soto, that he should bring out the list of the sponsors of terrorists and make sure that they pick all of them out. See, let me tell you, the goldfish that doesn't have hiding places now are the sponsors of terrorists in the north. And why is Nigerian government not picking these people one by one and bring them to justice? Why? That is a very big question that still remains unanswered, and Israel has called. In conjunction with their greatest ally on earth, Israel has come to sign referendum colluding with the United States of America to set Biafra free. But currently, as I'm talking to you, if care is not taken, Kanu will not stay up to 6 months this year in Sokoto prison. Kanu is coming out. He is coming out. Fulani Janjawis can never be our God, and the Tinubu will never be. Tinubu is there doing his business with all his cabals. Business of what? Siphoning money, sitting on top of people's taxpayered or earned, hard money. That is what they are doing. None of them could be our God. Israel is come.
Which is getting involved in the politics.
Well, we're not here to play politics in Nigeria. We're just here to say that
no agenda.
Connection. Yes. Yeah. Well, there are movements trying to separate the southern part of Nigeria, which is Biafra, Igbo land, and to create independence from Nigeria. So that's the politics that they fear.
Involved, the African Union, the international community is to be involved in the separation, so that nobody will feel cheated, and so that things will be done in accordance with laid down standard procedure. Well, Nigeria will not be the first if it happens. In the case of the Nigerian and the Biafran issue, they should sit on the round table, discuss the separation, because it's obviously not working. It's not working. It has not worked for the past 65 years, and that we got independent. So I don't know what magic we're going to do to make it work in this new dispensation when everybody is tearing the other person apart.
I think a lot of people are so concerned that if there is a separation or a secession of Biafra, if Biafra leaves Nigeria today, that their investment in Nigeria, so to say, like in the northern part, western part of Nigeria, will be a thing that they are not going to retrieve back. Like it's like going home from being somebody to a nobody, or starting from zero ground one again. So it's been a lot of concern, and I think a lot of scholars say it's the reason why the agitation might not see the light of day, because lots of Igbos have invested vastly in Nigeria.
Yes, that could be a reality, but also there is a way around it. You know, if Biafra comes to exist, Biafra will be a nation amongst the ECOWAS country. It will be a nation amongst the African Union. It will be a nation also amongst the United Nations. And there are protocols guiding all these things, the properties you acquire. We have Nigerians with buildings in Ghana, in Cameroon, in the US. Nobody chased them away from their building because they are a different country. But because we are Africans and the black man mentality, where the lazy man will want to take properties that does not belong to him, it could happen in Nigeria. I remember there was a time somebody from the north was making a statement and saying that they have already started doing a census of the buildings in case Biafrans leave. Then they will go in and take the buildings and all that. Well, if there was a war, for instance, and that war leads to secession, maybe they could do that. But if it's a negotiated secession or division, all these things will be tabled and there will be answers to them. And that is why those who are agitating for the Biafran nation want a situation where the United Nations will be involved, the African Union, the international communities to be involved in the separation, so that nobody will feel cheated, and so that things will be done in accordance with laid down standard procedure. Well, Nigeria will not be the first if it happens. You remember there was a nation called the USSR.
The Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union had so many countries, and when it broke up, they negotiated, they discussed. Russia took the things it needs to take. The current Ukraine fighting now took some of its own things. You remember in those days, most of the nuclear power warheads of USSR were located in Ukraine.
Ukraine, present
yes.
in Ukraine.
And in the course of the division, they said, okay, you don't need to rush these weapons. We can give you something else. We can give you aid. We can give you finances to build, to develop your nation. Meanwhile, you will retrieve the weapons from you. And Ukraine found it profitable for it. And said, okay, yeah, you take the weapons, give us the resources to develop our nation. And with that resources, Ukraine developed a lot of infrastructure, which led to so many Africans and people, so many people from the world going to Ukraine for schooling. Those are some of the proceeds they got. Instead of harboring warheads, nuclear warheads, that would do them no good, that you'll be servicing and spending money on, and meanwhile there's no war that will require it in the nearest future. So because of that, so many countries, not only them, Uzbekistan, so many, Slovakia, all of them. So they separated. The buildings owned by Russians who were living in Ukraine were not confiscated by the Ukrainians. They still live there. The only thing is that if there are taxes to be paid, you pay those taxes. So we expect that in the case of the Nigerian and the Biafran issue, they should sit on the round table, discuss the separation, because it's obviously not working. It's not working. It has not worked for the past 65 years, and that we got independent. So I don't know what magic we're going to do to make it work in this new dispensation when everybody is tearing the other person apart. And even from the 1914, when the British government forced us to join or amalgamated the northern and southern protectorate, it's not as if there was any consultation. You know, it was done by the barrel of a gun. A machine gun was pointed at Nigerians and said, look, you guys must be one nation. And it was done just for ease of administration for the British government, so that they could have one leader. Instead of sending so many administrative officers from London and paying them salary, you can bring these people into one nation and one head and pay just a few people salary to run the affairs of the otherwise two countries. Yes, but be that as it may, the document of the amalgamation clearly stated that it should be tested for 100 years. The 100 years elapsed, I think 2014. Yeah, it elapsed 2014. It didn't work. It's not going to work. because the ideology of the two entities, the North and the South, they are clearly different.
Okay.
Our cultures are different. Our ways of life are different. Our religions, they are all different. Everything is different. The way our value system is not the same as the value system of those in the North. And that is why, yes, not the same. That is why in Nigeria, you have the penal code, you have the criminal code. So you have two laws governing the same set of people. You have those who want to do Sharia and those who want to be secular. So our value system are not the same. Our ways of life are not the same. Some people want to keep their wives in a kule, for instance, and some of us said, no, our wives should go look for a job and earn a living and live a life. So the way we want our children,
our worldviews are not the same.
It's not. We want our children to go to school. Some people want theirs to be alamajiri in the morning, they take plates and they go out to beg. We don't want our own children to do that. So the way we see life is completely different. So there's no how, there's no way we can remain together. We're just forcing ourselves to remain together, but it's not working. It's obviously not working at all.
Okay, so you mentioned the roundtable conversation where the United Nations, AU, ECOWAS will sit alongside Nigeria and Biafra to have that conversation, very vital conversation. Do you think and do you foresee that conversation in the nearest future, given fact that Nigeria was created for a purpose administratively for the UK, and over time we could still see the imprints of the West, and it favors them for this, what they created to steal. So they created it for their own benefit. They created it for their own wealth and success. Do you think, since they are still the ones that run the EU, the AU, the United Nations, ECOWAS, do you think that that is possible?
I believe it is possible. Now, Africa is beginning to wake up, and luckily starting from the Sahel region. Those from Niger Republic, for instance, have told their French colonial masters to get away from their territory. Those from Chad have also done the same thing to their colonial masters. The same thing with those in Burkina Faso. You see, these are examples of African nations who are determined to be independent. They want to be independent, and we can see the development going on now in Burkina Faso. Before now, the French government was almost controlling the air they breathe.
In Burkina.
Everything is, you must get authorization from France. Until this young man came in and said, no, we cannot continue to take authorization from you before we do something in our nation. Our resources should be for us. You do not dig up our resources, fix a price for it that is way below the ordinary market price, and then not to talk, and then you still incite insecurity in our territory just to keep us down and to keep mining our product. So because of that, they kick them out, and I support them. And I think one day too, Nigeria will wake up to understand that Britain is not helping us. They are not helping us. Now, if you are from northern Nigeria, you could develop much more better than you are now if you were independent northern Nigeria, if you are detached from the south. Because, the south are, I won't say they are complimenting you. No, they are never complimenting the north. Neither is the north complimenting the south. They are two different, very different entities. Instead, the other is dragging the other back. So the North, for instance, want to go out, be full-blown Sharia country and develop maybe like Saudi Arabia. That would be wonderful. We will encourage them. It will encourage them also to face the agriculture. They have vast lands. They will do their granite pyramid. They export granite and guinea corn and food stuff and all sorts of things to the southern part of Nigeria in exchange for maybe oil and whatever. So there are so many things the North can achieve if they were independent. Look at the wind. If you travel, for instance, to Maiduguri, Sokoto, you see the wind from the Sahara Desert coming in. This wind can be harnessed into wind energy to create electricity. Yeah, but everybody is running to Shiroro Dam and all the small dams, and every time they tell you there is a collapse of the national grid,
and they will be
it's because these things cannot sustain the population. So there is need to have this nation divided into two or more, so that each unit or each region or each section can grow at its own pace, with its own culture, with its own religion, with its own beliefs and ideology. Then it will also help those from other places. Those in the southwest, for instance, the Yoruba nation, they can develop their cocoa farm back. You know, before now, in the days of Zik, in the days of Awolowo, in the days of Ahmadu Bello and people, the regions were developing and competing favorably without too much bitterness or rancor. The Igbo section will want to do something extraordinary, and then the Yoruba too will want to do their own. Then the North want to do their. Everybody is competing.
Healthy competition.
And there was development. But these days, what happens? You do railway, you leave the South out of your railway project. You draw a railway from here to Niger. What do we really get from Niger? Meanwhile, Onitsha has a lot of people, trailers fly Onitsha to Sokoto to bring in goods. And then you instead of you to do the railway from Onitsha to Sokoto, you are doing the railway from Abuja to Niger. It doesn't make sense. Do a railway from Lagos to Onitsha or to Aba, where people who import
goods, a haulage.
Can travel easily. You refuse. Do it from Lagos to Sokoto even. You refuse. But you do from here to Niger. And then what happens? It brings in bandits. It opens the doorway for criminal elements to come in freely. I know, because they say we're ECOWAS nation, you don't need visa. You just travel as you want. Nobody asks you where are you entering or how are you entering. You just move the way you want to move. And then you see it draws us backwards to the extent that in the Federal Capital Territory, for instance, you see men with cattle roaming the streets, roaming Central Business District. Just like New York. Imagine traveling to New York and then you see cattle
roaming the
streets with somebody carrying stick and then hiding AK-47 in some bags in the cattle. Those are the kind of things you see in a country like this, where we do not have defined principles, we do not have defined citizenship.
Okay.